We've finally got a mountain bike on the channel, and this is my Yeti ARC Hardtail. I'm upgrading from my Pipedream Sirus, which you've probably seen on the channel before. Now, the reason I'm upgrading to this is throughout my whole mountain biking career, whenever I've brought a new bike, it's always taught me something and pushed my mountain biking skills on. But through most of my life, I was riding very lightweight cross-country bikes, and this was sort of my transition into having a bit more fun with mountain biking. It's taught me loads. It's taught me how to handle a bike on steeper terrain and how to really use my body weight and move around the bike a whole lot more. So I'm hoping that this Yeti ARC is taking that idea, sort of a lighter, more agile platform, and I want to change some other parts of my riding as I go. Now, this isn't the perfect bike and we're making some modifications. So the big headline on this is that the very first thing I'm going to do is completely destroy the warranty, because the modifications I want to make with this are quite clearly in the Yeti instructions saying you will void the warranty if you do this. But I'm going to do it, and I want to show you why and how, because I don't think there's other channels that really explain how it all works and why you would want to take the risk. I also want to show you sort of the quality details, because Yeti is quite a highly regarded bike company, but we don't often get to see inside them. We've got the opportunity to take a really close look. It's not as good as you might hope for a bike of this value, but I'm going to show you that as we go. So the modifications I'm going to make are to the headset, and I'm going to show you the quality of the frame in a second, but it makes more sense if I show you the modifications first. This is a slacker. Now, this is a special type of headset which makes the head angle slacker than it already is. Now, the reason I want to do that is because I've really started to enjoy that slack head angle of my Pipedream. But what I've done is I have fit a 130mm fork, where that frame was only ever intended to run with a 120mm fork. The Yeti is designed to run with a 130mm fork, but the head angle is a little bit too steep. So this is hopefully going to reduce that by 1.6 degrees and give me what I think is a slightly longer but just as slack version of the Sirius in its original 120mm fork length. This is what's apparently is going to void the warranty. Essentially all it is a big tube that fits through your bike, screws together in the middle, and then you put your normal headset into this rather than putting it directly into the frame. On the Yeti website, it says quite clearly that this frame is able to run with a 150mm fork, where it's designed for 130. And it gives you all the parameters about how that would affect handling, i.e. making the headset slacker. So it's been tested for a 150mm fork, but it hasn't been tested for using a slacker headset adapter. To my mind, it feels like a fairly lazy way of getting out of their warranty, because even though they've tested with 150, which I think would have a bigger impact to any structural integrity of the headset than this would. I don't know, what do you think? Another thing that really makes me say that is because when we take a close look at the headset, it does initially look like fairly good quality. The bearing seats are all nice and smooth, there's no paint overspray. It looks like they've done a nice job, but what they've done is they've drilled through the front of the headset to fit this nameplate, and as they've done so, they've actually damaged some of the carbon on the inside. If you can drill through the carbon to fit a nameplate and you can fit a 150mm fork, why does this ruin the warranty? I would love to know an answer to that, Yeti, if you're listening, but I'm going to fit it anyway because I want to. As for the rest of the frame, it's kind of the sort of quality you'd expect from someone like Yeti. So the facings where the wheel sits are all nice and clean. It has a SRAM UDH in case you ever want to fit the new SRAM electronic group set, you never know. It comes with these fantastic rubber chain silencers everywhere, which I love. All the bits where the cable routing goes are nice, they look durable. The brake facings aren't great. I think I'm definitely going to have to do some work on that to remove some of that paint and bring them back to a flat surface. The seat post is great, super smooth in there. The bottom bracket on first inspection looks amazing. Like, you can run your finger around any of this, even the cutouts that they've made for the cable routing, and there's not a loose fibre, a sharp edge anywhere in there. So Jake downstairs has been joking about bottom brackets and would they pass the lick test and would you lick it? And actually this is a bottom bracket, yeah. I think I probably would. I'm not going to. When we measure it, we do have a bit of a problem. Remember, these are our 40.95 gauges, and this should be difficult to press in, but not impossible. But this does not go in at all. We are quite undersized. And when I come to measure it with our internal micrometer, undersized not by loads, but by enough to make me sort of question whether to make a change. So the non-drive side here is measuring about 40.87 or something, let's say. And the drive side is actually measuring 40.95 horizontally, but on the vertical axis, it's a little bit smaller, about 40.8. So it's unfortunate that that bottom bracket is undersized and a little bit oval in reality. Am I going to do something about it? Tough choice. One, I know that I'm going to fit a plastic Shimano bottom bracket in there, and I know that I'm fitting 24mm axles, and there's loads and loads of compliance in that system to deal with an undersizing like that. So I probably won't, just because I want to get outside and ride in. But if I was to ever fit a more high quality bottom bracket with an aluminium shell, or if I was running SRAM dub and I had to really rely on those smaller bearings, that bottom bracket really does need some work to guarantee sort of longevity of the bearings. Other little details about why I'm making this change. You see, not only I want to change the frame, I kind of want to change my riding style a little bit. And so far with this bike, I've been riding flats, which is really unusual for me. Been pretty cool, but I'm ready to go back to SPDs. But rather than like race shoes like I used to do, I've picked up a set of Look X-Track pedals, kind of changing a little bit my philosophy as to how to ride, coming away from this sort of setup into something a little bit of a nod back towards my cross-country roots, but still hopefully on a nice playful platform to go and enjoy some of the steeper sections of the Lake District. Right, with all that said, I think we should probably start taking this thing apart. Can't resist a quick weigh-in. Now I know it's not a completely fair test because this one's got headset and bottom bracket in, but this was 3 point something kilos. Let's take a look at the Yeti, and the Yeti at 1.4, so it's like half the weight of the Pipedream. Should be fun. The instructions you get with the Slacker are actually really, really comprehensive, and it's definitely worth following them. When you buy one, there's like a lot of measurements to take care of when you buy them. So the first thing on instructions is clean everything, which we've done, and then mark the center line of the frame. This is going to be our reference point. And that center line of the frame is going to correspond to a little notch in these headset units. The first thing you've got to do when you go back to it is to make sure that when you fit in this seat here is touching the frame and not this seat. So just doing a dry fit, as we put that in, we should still see a gap in there. In fact, I can get my fingernail in, so I know that it's sat there on the bearing seat because there's a gap there. I mean, I can see it as visual. So we've definitely got the right size. Let's get some friction paste in there first of all. It all looks a bit red and a bit weird, but this kind of does its job. Next up is some Loctite 243 onto these threads. So what we need to do is get these lined up with those center lines, and then you get this special tool included with it, and this is going to go up in the center and engage with that center tube. Now to get this up to the 30 Newton meters, we're using the Wera X3 along with an extension and a 19mm socket. So let's wind this up to 30 Newton meters. Now the trick here is to try and keep these two center lines lined up as you bring this center section up to torque. You can see how this top one's wanting to move. So we are nicely lined up, top and bottom. So to finish this off, I'm going to use one of my favorite headsets. This is the Cane Creek 40. For the value for money, they're great. The bottom crown race has actually got a good seal on them. The bearings are really easy to get hold of, and the top compression ring there is also sealed as well. So for mountain biking, I think these are some of the best headsets out there for the money. And this is a standard 41-52mm, nothing special about that at all. And now you can see why I kept this so long. I'm not completely sure where I want my handlebar height just yet. So I'm keeping this fairly long, mostly because when you have very slack angle bikes, you'll tend to find that the handlebars swing round and hit the frame. So this, I just want to set it up right now that it's not going to hit. Actually, this is so much better than the Pipedream, because the Pipedream, these brakes would always hit the top tube. I think this, I'm going to go quite a bit lower. We'll start there for now, and I reckon we're going to lose a whole load of those headset spaces as we go. Now, I know lots and lots of you are crying right now watching this, but generally speaking, I tend to change my forks and stuff out quite a bit. So it's best to keep a little bit of length on them. Now, sadly, the Yeti has got a little bit of internal cable routing, so we are going to need to cut this brake hose and feed it through the frame. And I think it is just about going to reach. Happy days. Look at this, in there. And straight up the other end. Easy. Nice one, Yeti. Release the lever, and that's it. Cool, there we go. We're about done up here. I'm going to run downstairs. I'm going to sort this bottom bracket out. You've seen that done before on the channel. Bleed these brakes up, and there is still plenty of day left to go and give it a ride this evening. That's very exciting. I think you can probably see now why I've put that slacker in. It makes such a big difference. It's made the wheelbase a little bit longer. I think I'm going to lose a couple of these headset spaces, but let's go and ride it first and adjust as we go. Oh, it's so much lighter. So first technical climb done, bit of a road bash now, and first impressions are I haven't fallen in love with it at first sight, but I'm definitely warming to it. Go, bit of techie climbing through the land. So that was a lot of fun. It always is, almost, no matter what bike you're on. But this is a very different ride. It's going to teach me how to use my hips a lot more, I think. I'm quite looking forward to that, because I've always been a bit bad about using my hips to sort of manipulate the back wheel. Whether I like this bike or not, it's definitely going to teach me a new skill, because you can. The Sirius was sort of so heavy that you didn't really need to just plow through things, almost like an enduro bike with 120mm forks. This definitely feels like you don't have to, you can move the back around a lot more, like a hardtail should do, I suppose. But anyway, that was all pretty cool. It handled all the rough stuff just fine. Typical hardtail, you had to pick a line, you can't just plow through like you can do a full suspension. Makes trails like that, just in my mind anyway, just so much more fun. Got this really annoying creak, and I cannot work out where it's coming from. It only happens when I bounce the fork. I don't know if it's the headset, but I'm going to need to go and take this apart and investigate it more, because I can't be living with that. So this is third ride now, I think, without the slacker head unit thing, just because it was creaking and making way too much noise. I still like it. It's a really playful bike. You just want to jump off every little rock and divot and just have a little bit of fun with it. It's definitely teaching me to use my hips more, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I do wish that slacker unit worked though, because I do just feel like I'd want it just to travel over some of the bigger rocks a little bit easier than it does. You see, it feels fast because you're having to really work the bike, but I bet when I upload to Strava it's not as fast, but you're having to put so much sort of corrective action into it. But maybe that was kind of the point. Now I'm conflicted. question is do I like my new bike? That's a tough one to answer. I can't universally just say, yeah, I love it, because I'm not entirely sure if I do yet. I'm going to go back to the reasons why I brought this bike and start to sort of justify those arguments. I'm coming to terms with some of it. Let me try and explain what I mean. You see, the Pipedream Sirus, which I had on the wall, was sort of my introduction into slightly longer and slacker geometry. And it's given me a lot of confidence in riding steeper terrain. I quite like that, but it struggles with cornering, especially uphill. You've really got to think about your cornering. Actually put quite a lot of effort into making that front wheel track. Downhill, it's kind of it just bounces over things. Even with just a short 130mm fork, it's got that slacker head angle that will just carry you over obstacles. What I wanted from a bike was to take what I've learned from that experience of a hardtail and get something that's a little bit more nimble, a little bit more fun. And I thought this was going to be it, and maybe it is. You see, I'm loving this really short back and this really short height here. It is making me move my body around the bike and use my hips and my body weight a whole lot more than I could on the Sirus. Even though that was low, because it was quite heavy and quite long, you couldn't really do that. So I've been really enjoying that, and it's really, really playful bike. You see, out on the trails, whenever there's like a little bump or a drop or whatever, I just feel like I want to just play with it, you know, just carry some speed, take a little jump, hit the berms a little bit higher, whatever it is. It's just a bike that says, come on, just have some fun. And I'm definitely really enjoying it. When it comes to sort of the steeper and the rockier stuff, that's where I think I would really, really want that slacker head angle. And this, you know, slacker unit that we fitted from 9.8, I've taken it out because it was just creaking so much I couldn't deal with it. I've reached out to the guys at 9.8, asked for help. Not an awful lot of help has been forthcoming. I've taken it out, putting it back in. I haven't got to the bottom of it. I'm not going to give up on it, because I do think this will make the bike what I really, really wanted. And I guess you guys are going to say, well, why don't you just put a 150mm fork on it and, you know, and buy a bike with a slacker head unit in the first place? Well, I couldn't really find that geometry, and I thought this was the answer. Now I've taken it out and I've been riding it, my thinking is starting to develop again, because on the climbs, this is really good fun. It turns technical climbs fun again, because you can really like just attack technical climbs. And I haven't done that for a while, because the Sirus was definitely not that sort of a bike. You really had to sit down and rely on the traction to carry you through. This is, you can maneuver this about a bit. And on the descents, I definitely, you can steer a whole lot more, because you can move your body around, you can really attack it. So this is, at the moment, teaching me to move my body a lot more, look a lot further ahead, because I need to think a bit more about my line choice rather than just ploughing through things. So maybe it is what I was after all, but I do feel like I wanted a bit more time with this. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make this work somehow, so stay tuned. As for the rest of the bike, I've kind of settled on my handlebar height about here. We're well away from the top tube. This is my one gripe with the Pipedream, is I always had to have my handlebars quite high, because this would always hit. You know, if you fell off your bike, or you're just trying to put it in the back of someone's van or whatever, it would just hit. You know, these brake pads, these brake levers would just hit the top tube, and it was really impractical. So around my handlebars, a bit higher than practical, which is annoying. So I've got my handlebars where I want them now. That's really cool. I'm loving those forks. Every time I ride them, I'm just really, really impressed. They just feel like they've just got you. They're really, really supportive. When you're really going over something big, it doesn't feel like you dive straight through it. And yet when you're going through things fast, it just feels like they're responding. So RockShok's Pike Ultimates, in fact, the entire Ultimate range from RockShok's has impressed me. A couple of little criticisms. The cable routing isn't ideal for UK stuff, so I've had to sort of do a weird thing with the back brake, but nothing rubs on the frame, so that's a win-win. This is all nice, it keeps all the cables tied down, nothing is rattling, it's a really quiet bike. The bottle cage is really low down, like you've got to really lean down to grab a bottle from that bottle cage. I realise I'm quite unusual running a bottle, most riders don't these days and just have everything in their pack, but I still quite like to have things in my pack, especially as I'm carrying sort of a GoPro and drones and stuff these days, so I can film it for you guys. The Shimano drivetrain, I still think that Shimano mechanical 12-speed is one of the best group sets out there right now. It's so reliable, it just kind of works. The Shimano XT hubs that I've got have started creaking again. If anyone owns those Shimano XT hubs with the micro spline, you'll probably know what I mean, but they go through this period of being fantastic, and all of a sudden this incessant creak comes in, and it's not like bearing wear. It's got something to do with the little springs in the free hub and how they operate, because it's a completely silent drive, which is really nice, but something in that mechanism fails every now and then. The solution really is bonkers. You literally just take it apart, like almost don't do anything and put it back together again. It'll be fine for another 10 rides, and then all of a sudden it will just start creaking again. If I ever get to the bottom of that, I'll let you know. And then there's these Magura MT7 brakes. I really, really love Magura brakes, and you'll notice that I've now ordered in some Magura brake rotors as well. So the difference, in case you guys didn't know, was that Magura use a rotor that is 2 millimeters thick, and it's considered worn out when it gets down to 1.8. In contrast, SRAM Shimano, their brake rotors from new measure 1.8 and are considered worn out at 1.5. So you can't really run Shimano brake rotors very long before you really start to lose that bite point. So anyway, I've upgraded those and that's all working pretty neatly. Interesting little side note, don't know if you've seen, but Magura now do a brake set called the MT5 Pros. Now, this is 250 quid for a 4-pot front and back, including rotors and adapters. Now that, I think, is going to be worth a look. I'm going to order a set in and show you guys, because they're going to ride very, very similar to the MT7s, but at that price, for the entire set, everything you need, that's quite a compelling little offer actually. So just to finish up, I don't know about you, but I really love the aesthetics of this frame. I love this sort of sharp edge here and how it just follows through all the way through down to the rear dropouts. I sort of love this sort of headset type area and how all the cables are tied down. I love how all this is protected where the chain bangs. This is, you know, I think the frame looks amazing. It rides pretty amazing, just could have been a little bit better. And it's built to an okay standard, which is disappointing. With all that said then, what would you do? Do you think I'm just being picky and pedantic and I should just get on and ride it and enjoy it and not worry about it too much, learn from it, move on? Or do you think I should really try to embrace this and try to adapt my ride into this type of bike? Or have you got another suggestion? Did I choose the wrong bike for what I wanted? Okay, looking forward to your comments on this one. Till the next one, take it easy.